Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Links are in the description below. Please show some love of the author and me. On to the show. Identity friend or foe identification camouflage technology. It is the most awesome technology, even more awesome than Crossfire. Don't know anything else. According to Zian's knowledge. At present, the human race of the universe, after understanding the evolution of this technology, one slap can be counted. All of them are at the level of human clan treasures. Why is identity identification friend-foe camouflage technology the most awesome? Very simple. Because this technology is more important to a group of people. Crossfire. Only individuals are powerful. Identity friend-foe identification and camouflage. But it allows our own soldiers to break into the enemy's rear base camp. Who do you think is more important? That is to say, Zian now masters the Crossfire technique. He also mastered the technology of identity identification and camouflage. That is to say, I, Zian, am the super treasure of the human race? Thinking about it, Zian couldn't help but laugh like a fool. The identification friend or foe camouflage technology is awesome not only because it cannot be discovered by the enemy. Like now, the starships of the brilliant fleet have identity identification and camouflage technology. Then it is equivalent to. Even if the brilliant fleet is launched into the face of the insect race, the insectoids will not find you an enemy. And the most important thing is that those defensive artillery arrays will not attack you. This is the most outrageous thing. For this situation, it is extremely important. If we say that before, Zian was only 30% sure of destroying the enemy's headquarters. So now, he was 99% sure. It's the difference and importance. Besides, super camouflage this ability. It can also directly interfere with the enemy's visual nerves without camouflage to achieve the purpose of camouflage. This is even more awesome. Camouflage. Of course, there must be actual items for camouflage to be called camouflage. However, the system provides a camouflage ability that can directly interfere with the opponent's vision without using a physical object for camouflage. This is somewhat of a fantasy, but it just exists. But after Zian took a look, suddenly there was no thought of using this ability. Stop it. 10 million worth of wealth per minute, and it's just a starship. Who can stand this? The brilliant fleet has a total of 8 starships, which means that 1 minute is worth 80 million in wealth. Go to hell. Can't afford it. What's more, the larger the number of enemies, the more powerful the enemies, and the more powerful your own starship, the higher the cost of interfering with the opponent's vision. Forget it. Never use it except in emergencies. What's wrong? What happened? In the communicator. Zian's sudden exclamation made all the girls feel excited and asked hurriedly. Zian finally woke up, grinned and said, "It's okay, it's okay. Let's go out later. Now, there are more important things to do." The girls were startled. Zian continued to laugh, his laughter full of excitement. Just now, I had a technical epiphany. This technology is what I have been trying to break through. I didn't expect that I suddenly had an idea and understood it. Stop it now. Little bird, take out all the metals and materials used for maintenance in your maintenance cabin. I want to use them. Bai Xiaoyuan immediately nodded and said, "Okay. Got it." Immediately, Bai Xiaoyuan took out various materials and piled them on the surface of the meteorite. Then use a metal mesh to cover it to prevent it from flying away due to gravity. After that, Zian stepped off the starship directly in his space armor and began to study. The girls looked puzzled for a while, but they did not step off the starship. Instead, they looked at Zian curiously in the cab. I want to see what he is going to do. A sudden epiphany of technology, what is it? However, the technology that can surprise Zian so much and even delay it at this moment. It must be important, right? Thinking like this, Zian finally started my own operation. Super camouflage ability, to put it bluntly. In fact, it is not Zian's own evolutionary skills. It is a skill directly given by the system. But it doesn't matter at all. It may be given directly by the system, or it may be something like that. Just use it now. At best, you can just learn this skill slowly in the future. Anyway, there is a camouflage plan given directly by the system, so you can learn it. Zian is much more relaxed than others. First, of course it's his own starship, the Brilliance. Facing the brilliant number, Zian directly used super camouflage. Then many options popped up. Zian directly chose the camouflage technology of identity friend or foe identification camouflage. This time the camouflage of the brilliant fleet starship was personally carried out by a master of disguise. Maybe it's not the most cutting-edge kind, but it's actually useful enough. What's more, there are no more materials for appearance camouflage. So what to do now? Just carry out identity identification and disguise. The identity friend or foe identification camouflage option is selected. A lot of options popped up. Basic camouflage, advanced camouflage, elementary disguise, intermediate disguise, advanced camouflage, top camouflage, extreme camouflage, super disguised. Different camouflage options have different camouflage effects. Such as basic camouflage only has the most basic camouflage effect. For example, the enemy's identification of friend or foe cannot be recognized temporarily, but more advanced identification equipment, or a slightly more powerful enemy starship, can identify it in minutes. And the duration of disguise is short. Identity identification and camouflage are time-sensitive. In this era of fully intelligent optical brains, identity friend or foe identification camouflage is actually to deceive the intelligent optical brain. Since the intelligent optical brain is intelligent, it also means that it has the ability to learn and distinguish on its own. You can fake it at first. It's been a long time, the disguise will be cracked by the intelligent optical brain. Therefore, if you want to disguise yourself for a long time and efficiently, definitely a higher level. Finally, Zian chose advanced disguise. After all, it's not like being a spy. Long-term camouflage is required to hide behind enemy lines. This camouflage effect, a star destroyer that can guarantee 100% perfect overall quality, will never be able to break through its camouflage in a short period of time. And the identification equipment on this planet is not of the high-end kind. Pretending for an hour is more than enough. And this hour, enough to fight and run away. Because it's impossible to spend an hour here. It will take at most 20 minutes to evacuate. Otherwise, wait for the enemy to come. There is no need to run. Advanced disguise requires 100,000 wealth points. Expensive but not expensive. 8 starships, with a total wealth value of 800,000. Totally affordable. Immediately. No longer hesitate. Advanced camouflage was chosen. Suddenly, all necessary camouflage materials are displayed, as well as camouflage methods, etc., all are also displayed. The reason why identification of friend or foe is difficult is disguise. It's because this kind of disguise is almost the same as evolution. Evolution points need to be consumed to allow the starship to swallow different metals and materials, causing the identity of the starship itself to change. But this change will not last long, and will soon be completely absorbed and swallowed up by the starship. Or if it is directly recognized, the disguise will immediately become invalid. The difficulty is that the starship swallows these metal materials used for camouflage, but it cannot affect the performance of the starship itself. This is super difficult to know. Differences in materials may cause overall qualitative changes in the starship. Countless evolutionists are unable to do this. This is why the identification of friend or foe is the biggest difficulty in camouflage technology. It's too difficult. But now with the system, these are not problems. Even the most awesome super camouflage option works. What is super camouflage? Super disguise, that is. No matter how you want to disguise yourself, you can do it with just a thought. And no one can find it. No matter how awesome or powerful the starship is, you can't find it. And is permanent. Unless you evolve a starship. It's still a big evolution. Otherwise, small evolutions will not affect its camouflage ability. Zian started to operate step by step. Brilliant number. Constantly devouring various metal materials. The body of the brilliant ship has not undergone any changes. B. Its identity code is slowly changing. Thanks to the advanced disguise, the materials required are not particularly rare. They are all relatively basic materials. There are only certain rules in the amount, speed, and sequence of devouring these materials. Just like alloy smelting. It doesn't mean that if you put different metals together and smelt them, they will become an alloy. There is a recipe. The difference is, the order is different. There will be different changes. The knowledge is so profound. Soon. The brilliance has completed its disguise. And the moment the disguise is completed, the incredible and unbelievable exclamations of the women all sounded in the communicator. Look up again and tell. Inside the cockpit. It was the horrified faces of the women. Looking at Zian's eyes. Full of horror and shock, female. Really shocked. When they saw the recognition of the brilliant fleet suddenly disappear on their starship. The shock and horror in my heart. As violent as you want. Of course they knew what this meant. This means Zian mastered one of the most awesome techniques of the evolutionist. Identity friend or foe identification camouflage technology. Only 5 people in the Universal Federation of Humanity have mastered this technology. These 5 people. All of them are treasure-level figures of the human race in the universe. Zian, now the 6th man. You can imagine how strong the shock in the hearts of the women was at this moment. Perhaps Zian shocked them too much. Or maybe he has been in a state of confusion. Until Zian, the starships of the generals, all completed the identification and disguise. All the girls remained silent, no one said a word. Zian also took a long breath. With this identity, we can identify friend or foe and disguise ourselves. In general, even if you directly enter the enemy's planet, neither will be recognized by the enemy's defense system. There is also a 1-hour camouflage time limit. Everyone, get ready, let's go. Zian boarded the brilliance and shouted with high spirits. The girls all became excited at this time. Including Hai Tang, who has a cold temperament, a smile can't help but appear on her beautiful face at this moment. If the previous danger level was 9 points. So the current danger level is 873 degrees, which is only 5 points. Being able to deceive the enemy's reconnaissance and defense systems is a huge advantage. Asterisk 813, I'm afraid the enemy would never have thought that the brilliant fleet could not have identification friend or foe camouflage technology, right? Think about it too. There are only 5 people in the Universal Human Federation who understand this technology. How could those 5 people use this kind of technology on the brilliant fleet, so technical? Naturally, it is used on more powerful fleets. This is also true. Wolf was indeed a very alert and cautious man. After feeling uneasy, always pay attention to the situation of the defense system. He even took the initiative to send out his personal guards to patrol everywhere. 18, but he ignored the intrusion of identification friend-foe camouflage technology. In fact, you can't blame him. Because any normal person, no one would have thought that a fleet with only cruisers as its strongest force could possess such the most high-end technology. He would never have thought that a fleet mastering this kind of technology would come specifically to attack his small theater commander. So, It was precisely because of his unexpectedness that he sent his personal guards out. This confirmed his subsequent death 100%. At first, Zian and the others were still a little nervous. Because of this moment, they appeared in the Spring Worm star system openly, BBFG, without any cover-up. Just like this, he flew past starships and past the intelligent optical brains of the defense systems. After the intelligent optical brain scan, it paid no attention to it. Because the scanning result of the intelligent optical brain is your own. As for the brilliant fleet's identification friend or foe camouflage, the camouflage material absorbed in it is constantly being consumed with the scans. But judging from the current situation, there is absolutely no problem if you stick to it for a few hours. Until the brilliant fleet entered the planet marked, Number 1, no abnormalities were caused. Zian saw a few people and finally felt relieved. Caused by the sight, including Zian. All of them showed disgust in their eyes. The insectoid race's technology is advanced and the planet is prosperous. No less than the human race in the universe. Looking around, there are tall buildings with different styles, which have a very sci-fi color. Star shuttles are also constantly shuttling through the city. But the key is that the pedestrians coming and going on the street all look very strange. Caterpillar-like arthropods, the insectoids are like slugs, with disgusting mucus on their bodies, like a centipede. They have many arms and legs. They are tall and thin, more than 10 meters tall. With arms and legs as long as spiders, the insectoids are lying on the ground and advancing quickly. Too many. There are all kinds of strange things, and the key appearances are all extremely ugly. All in all, it makes people feel numb and nauseated. Chi-Chi, Fuyue, before you two leave, remember to fire a few more shots. Zian warned. Yeah, I know. Hu Chi-Chi and Qin Fuyue nodded in response. No more attention. Driving the brilliants and taking the girls, they flew straight towards the locked military camp. Flying freely on the insectoid planet, preparing to kill the insectoid headquarters, this feeling, needless to say, is quite exciting and refreshing. Now, after the system has this ability, I believe that in the future, there will definitely be more opportunities like this for the brilliant fleet. This ability, it's so useful. Especially after that, the appearance of the dazzling fleet also underwent the most rigorous camouflage. There is no trace of a human starship at all. That is the best disguise. The conditions are limited now, so that's it for the time being. Not for a while. Ahead, the military camp is already visible to the naked eye. This is just a small military camp, not a sky. The specific location of the headquarters is not known, but this does not affect it. Just direct coverage saturation bombing, and that's it. In order to avoid the headquarters being underground, wait for a wave of penetrating bombs to come directly up. Then use high explosive shells to clear the ground. It's already here. Naturally, there is nothing to worry about or wait for anymore. Immediately, Zian gave the order, start fighting directly. Chi-Chi, Fuyue, if the cannonballs are strong, hit me. All the buildings here must be completely destroyed. Don't be afraid of consumption, just fight. Taimei, Taj, you are prepared and ready to intercept the enemy at any time, because 27 Harmony provides the best output environment. Xiaomi, you can move freely. As for Haitang, you too, move freely. Zian finished the arrangements and there was no more nonsense. Missiles, main and secondary guns, and even anti-aircraft guns were all launched together, spreading the most ferocious fire coverage. Zian opened fire, and she followed immediately. Suddenly, the skywide firepower poured down crazily towards the military camp ahead. To know Hu Chi-Chi and Qin Fuyue, the number of missiles alone is nearly 20,000 in one round. Not to mention a large number of main guns and secondary guns. Let's put it that way. This firepower configuration, placed on the Earth in ancient times, was even enough to wipe out all living things on the Earth. After all, it is powerful enough. And even in this day and age, all buildings have sufficient strength. But only one round of firepower came down. This area. They were all reduced to ruins in an instant. A huge pit appeared in front of him. Groundwater is instantly evaporated. Gravel, stones, etc. Then everything is melted into magma. The core of the planet is even faintly visible. That is to say, in this era, the star core of every inhabited planet has been reinforced. Otherwise, it's just this round. Unless this planet is directly destroyed. However, the reinforcement layer of the star core cannot be broken through by the firepower of the brilliant fleet. Next. It's even simpler. Destroy as many enemies as possible. Crazy firepower. Begin comprehensive coverage of the planet. As for the headquarters. Let's put it that way. In this situation. Unless it's a god. Otherwise, it would be impossible for anyone to survive. Just such a round of attacks, 1/10 of this huge planet was destroyed. A few more rounds. This planet. It will definitely become a Death Star. This is the horror of starships in this era. Don't look at the cruiser, it is only more than 1,400 meters long. But the ferocity of the firepower is jaw-dropping. Blow up a planet. Something impossible. This is also the truly terrifying aspect of identity identification and camouflage. It makes people hard to guard against. The sudden and fierce firepower covered it, and even the defense system did not respond at all. This sudden scene frightened countless insect people. But the attack will not stop just because they are dumbfounded. There is calculation in mind but no intention. When the opponent was unprepared, rounds of firepower covered them. Huge super pits appear on the surface of the planet. Tsunamis, heavy rains, strong winds, earthquakes, ground cracks, explosions, and magma. A scene of sheer hell. As long as they are on the ground and not in the starship, whether it's an ordinary person or a biological captain. They all died instantly under several rounds of fire. Hundreds of billions of people were wiped out in just over a minute. Huge amount of evolution value, crazy income. Only some star shuttles and starships flying in the sky escaped. Just a very small part. The vast majority of the population was turned into powder at this moment. No more. Next. Zian's voice was extremely cold, and the brilliant horn turned around and flew directly in the other direction at high speed. The girls immediately followed. At this moment. Finally, the insectoids who were lucky enough not to be killed and were in the starship reacted. Some powerful ones rushed toward the dazzling fleet like crazy. Among them, the fleet led by a deep space ship is the most crazy. They are really crazy. It can even be said to be a bit crazy. They never thought about it. An enemy actually sneaked into their planet and carried out a beheading operation on their headquarters. And by the way, hundreds of billions of people on the planet were all wiped out. That's hundreds of billions of people. Not to mention too much, but to say the least, there is definitely a population of 300 billion. Just like that, it was all gone. Buv is dead. By the way, there is also the captain of the Tianjia fleet, the 299th ranked peerless genius Minami Tomoya, and his Minami Tomoya fleet. Come with a lot of confidence. However, he was killed directly, without even the slightest reaction. Yes. Undeniable. Nanjia and his Tianjia fleet are indeed powerful. But they were not in their own starship at the time, but in the headquarters. Without the unique talent of the starship, even an assault ship can easily kill it. Even if they are warrior kings, even if they are wearing space armor, in the face of such terrifying firepower, let alone the war emperor. Even the immortal level experts will die. Do you really think the cruiser's fire coverage is a joke on you? It can be said. Nanjia is probably the most aggrieved genius who has ever died in the universe. Massacre. Still going on. Don't worry about them. Just intercept them, Taime and Taj. The others will continue to clear the ground with cannonballs for me. Use your speed advantage to clear the spring insect star system for me first. Zian ordered. He simply ignored the starships that were chasing him madly behind him. What's important is, let's talk about destroying the spring insect star system. Yes. All the girls responded in unison. The voices of the girls were also quite excited. Enough to see. Their harvest this time was huge. In fact, don't talk about them. Zian himself also gained extremely much. But it's just that the evolution value will be very high at the beginning. After other starships in this star system received the news, they took off one after another. There won't be much evolution value. But these are not important at all. The important thing is that these insectoids, whether they are biological captains or ordinary people, kill one and earn another. The speed advantage of the brilliant fleet was also used to the extreme. It was flying as fast as lightning. Quickly skip planets. Every time it passes a planet, it must be a large amount of firepower, and a wave of firepower will directly cover it in the space area. Don't make any stops at all. After you hit it, go to the next one. Perhaps with this coverage, the mortality rate of the insectoids would be smaller. But the vast majority of the insectoids will definitely not survive. These trillions of insectoids. Not much to say. Those who survive in the end and have a population of tens of billions will be considered very lucky. Terran. You are the damn Terran. I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you. In the communicator, a crazy roar echoed throughout the cockpit. The Universal Public Channel has no ethnic restrictions, and anyone can make calls. Zian didn't care at all. There are a total of 11 inhabited planets in the spring insect star system. But it's a pity. When the brilliant fleet's firepower covered the 8th planet, finally, we can see that in a distant area, a large number of fleets are flying towards this direction at great speed. At this time, a full 25 minutes have passed since the attack began. Zian knew it was time to leave. If you don't leave, you won't be able to leave. Run. I have shared the escape route with you, run as fast as you can. Zian immediately issued the order, and then was the first to control the brilliance and began to escape as quickly as possible. The number of starships chasing behind him is increasing. But it's a pity. Brilliant fleet, all engines are of extremely high quality. At this moment, it was brought to its extreme. Not only can the opponent not catch up, and the distance between the two sides is getting farther and farther. So angry roars resounded in the cockpit, but it was of no use. But want to escape? Obviously it's not that simple. The enemy is not a fool either. Those behind him cannot catch up. However, there are more than just this wave of enemies. Here. It's the rear of the insectoids. There are enemies on all sides. No. I just ran for a while. Ahead, a fleet headed by a cruiser rushed towards them. Both sides were still very far away, so the other side launched the missile first. Request Flowers 0. The other party's intentions are also very obvious. We don't want to kill the brilliant fleet, we just want to block it a little. The danger has really begun. Everyone, prepare for a bloody battle. First, destroy the fleet on the opposite side for me. Zian gave orders in a methodical and deep voice. Own. Then launch the missile immediately. Counterattack towards the opponent. They simply ignored the missiles launched from the opposite side. The two girls, Taj and Taimei, will intercept and defend on their own. As expected. Facing the enemy's missiles, Taj rushed to the front and stepped forward to block them without hesitation. Behind the dazzling fleet is Taimei's boulder. There are more missile attacks from the rear, intercepted and defended by Thailand and the United States, which have stronger defenses. At this moment, this reflects the importance of the two defense ships. Facing attacks from all directions, Taimei Taiji conducted an all-round interception, and the people in the middle began to fight back unscrupulously. In the case of a big battle on the front line, the fleet can still stay behind. Even if you think about it, it's not that powerful. For example, the cruiser fleet in front could not resist even a single round. They were harvested by the brilliant fleet in one wave. But, as Zian said, real danger. Only then does it really begin. Next, the journey back is the most dangerous. The most dangerous. Killing. Officially begin. Fighting a bloody way back, everyone in the brilliant fleet opened up their firepower without any reservation. Including Zian. At this moment, he no longer cares about the consumption of wealth. What's more, overlapping starships in multidimensional space doesn't cost much wealth. With the starships overlapping, the combat effectiveness of the brilliance became even more terrifying and fierce. Those cruisers were like a mob in front of Zian. Even Zian couldn't withstand a single shot and was blown up. As for the battleships, except for the one behind me, there is actually no other one, because they all went to the battlefield. When the strongest ones only have cruisers for interception, a few destroyers, most assault ships, and frigates. The dazzling fleet is like a broken bamboo. Harvesting is going on in a big way. A lot of evolution value is recorded. The only danger now. I'm just afraid that bioenergy and ammunition will be consumed too quickly. As a result, we will eventually run out of ammunition and food, which will cause the sky to be unresponsive and the earth to be ineffective. But at least for now, that situation has not occurred. Real killing. It also officially started. And at the same time, almost as soon as the brilliant fleet began to withdraw. This is a piece of news. Just like a cosmic storm. With unparalleled speed. Scraped through the entire war. Then it spread to the entire universe. The destruction of Nanchia and his fleet. It adds a more sensational color to the dazzling fleet. C72743 Battlefield, TC998 Theater. The ultra-small-scale war has entered a white-hot stage. The human race is here because it is a well-prepared attack. So even if you face the inhumans and the insects at the same time, it also firmly occupies a certain advantage. However, this advantage expands very slowly. It can even be said that this advantage is slowly being leveled. Although the inhumans and insects were not prepared. But over the years, I have already had the experience to fully deal with this kind of scene. After being caught off guard at the beginning, and gradually stabilizing the situation, a tug-of-war began with the human race. However, the inhumans and the insects are also mortal enemies. There is absolutely no possibility of cooperation. Therefore, both sides are also guarding against each other to prevent being surprised by the other side. He did not put all his strength into the battlefield with the human race. Therefore, the human race attacked the inhumans and the insects at the same time, and the Tuanhue still had the advantage. Otherwise it's 1v1 at best. The advantage is gradually shrinking, and the commander of the 067 tribe is thinking about possible tactics. The commanders on the inhuman and insect races are all old commanders. The commanders of the three parties have been fighting for who knows how many years. The commander of the human race had already anticipated this situation. I never thought I could really win or anything like that. That's pure nonsense. Wage war. It's just to regain the territory that was taken away before, that's all. By achieving this step, this war is actually considered a victory for the human race. But at this time, the human commander found that the battlefield seemed to be getting more and more wrong. Originally, all three parties were very anxious. The advantage is rapidly shrinking. But just a minute ago. Do not know why. On the insectoid side, there seems to have been a major mistake in the deployment of starship forces on the battlefield. Moreover, there were more and more mistakes, and it was only 5 minutes. On the insectoid side, they themselves fell into disarray and chaos. The attack from the human race was almost effortless, and the human race was pushed back almost half of the star system. "Come here, investigate what's going on over there with the insects immediately." With such an abnormal phenomenon, the human commander did not immediately take advantage of the victory and pursue it. He was afraid that this was a ploy by the insects to lure the enemy deeper. Before facing victory, you can still maintain the most rational thinking. This is a basic skill necessary for being an excellent battlefield commander. But it seems that there is no need to arrange for someone to investigate. At this time, the C-72743 battlefield headquarters directly sent an emergency order. To know war command in a theater is when directing operations. The commander-in-chief of the battlefield will not easily interfere with now. The conductor gives you a general direction, and then you direct it yourself. Only when urgent and major events occur, the commander-in-chief will issue orders. And the content of the command. It also caused the tens of thousands of commanders in the TC-998 theater headquarters to be stunned. Yes. Just one commander of the TC-998 theater headquarters has tens of thousands of people. There is no way, even though it is just a super small-scale war in a war zone. But the number of starships invested also exceeds tens of billions. And it's still increasing. After all, a war zone is composed of many star systems. Just tens of billions of starships, what are they to a war zone? What does it mean to tens of thousands of commanders? In a large-scale war like that, the number of commanders is calculated in hundreds of millions. Emergency order. Because Zian, the peerless genius of the human race, led his genius fleet, the brilliant fleet, regardless of danger, deep into the enemy's rear. Braving many crises, he destroyed TC-998 Commander Biv and all the commanders of the headquarters in one fell swoop, causing the insectoids in the TC-998 area to fall into a leaderless situation. Order. The C-72743 battlefield enters the first-level combat state. The TC-998 theater immediately mobilizes all effective forces to launch an attack on the insectoids in the TC-998 area regardless of consumption. The ultimate goal is to fully occupy and garrison the Zerg territory in the TC-998 area. Follow-up forces are currently on their way to support at full speed. Act now. Act now. Act now. This order, even these commanders who had experienced many big scenes, were stunned for 5 seconds. Only then did they react, and each of them looked extremely excited, and countless people pumped their fists and roared wildly, "Frack! That's it! Order, immediately mobilize the TC-998 area, and all war personnel who have not participated in the war, rush to the battlefield as quickly as possible. All logistics are activated, and we will immediately carry out the largest attack on the insects, regardless of consumption. At the same time, be on guard against the strange movements of the Inhumans, and deploy 1/5 of your strength to defend against the Inhumans. All the rest of the power, immediately. Immediately. Take action." The commander gave this order with an excited tone and a hoarse voice. Waiting for the order to be issued. Even he, who was already quite young, could not restrain himself from shaking his fist fiercely to vent his inner excitement. Don't look at the existence of so many war zones in sea-level battlefields. But for countless years, such a huge victory that truly wiped out a certain ethnic group from this war zone has never happened a few times. But now, at this moment, the human race is expected to completely drive the insect race out of the TC-998 war zone. Occupy territory controlled by the buggers. To know. The insects have deployed a lot of strength in the TC-998 war zone. Killing this part of the force is already a huge victory. Not to mention, there are hundreds of billions of people from the insect race behind the TC-998 war zone. Kill them all. It is a huge victory. And on those star systems, there must also be a huge amount of various resources and materials stored. Capturing it will be a huge harvest. Of course, the most important thing is that occupying this area is equivalent to being able to threaten more war zones of the insects at any time. On the battlefield. Move one hair and move the whole body. This side has achieved such a huge victory, which will have huge benefits for the human side of the entire C72743 battlefield. Zian. The dazzling genius Zian. Tianjiao fleet, dazzling fleet. These two names. It all appeared in the minds of the commanders in the command room. Heart, full of relief. The human race has a genius, so why worry about not being able to prosper? But the next second, the commander seemed to have thought of something, and his face changed wildly. Then without saying a word, he roared, "Order! Immediately dispatch the first elite team to confirm the location of the brilliant fleet and provide support and response as quickly as possible. At any cost, you must tell me about the brilliant fleet, especially the genius Zian. Please protect me. Go to me immediately." The commander quickly realized this. After the order was issued, he immediately dialed the emergency number that would never be dialed easily if there was no serious matter. As soon as the call was connected, the commander had not yet spoken at 2.3. An old, smiling voice came over. "No need to fight, I'm on my way there now. On the void ship, I will take action. Hear this." The commander then breathed a sigh of relief. As long as the top powerhouse can't personally attack Zian, then it will be fine. The Star Destroyer and Immortal ship will be handed over to the first elite team. Leftover, it's up to Zian himself. As the human race issued orders one after another. The entire TC-998 war zone. They were all caught up in the turbulent storm. Human race. Emergency dispatch. The aliens also noticed the abnormality. But their reaction is not as fast as the human race. The insect race, on the other hand, fell into chaos. Especially, the Zerg TC-998 war zone, with the hundreds of billions of Zerg people. He fell into extreme panic. Die. Like a haze. Covering the entire TC-998 war zone, the Zerg race. Special war state. All mobilized. All personnel in the TC-998 war zone, immediately follow the instructions of the Federal Army and launch an attack on all insectoids in the area. Reminder, regardless of the consequences. Regardless of consumption. Full-scale attack. Fight to the death and never retreat. At the moment the order was given, the entire TC-998 theater has entered a state of special war. All mechanical captains, biological captains, logistics personnel, and even ordinary people in the war zone, they will all obey the signs of the Space Human Federation Army at any time. In a state of special war, no one can refuse the orders of the Space Human Federation. Of course, except for the geniuses. They may be the only privilege. Besides, even the elderly, children and women have no privileges and must obey orders. War level. It is divided into special level war status, first level war status, second level war status, and third level war status. The third level war state is an ordinary war state, such as a certain star system encountering a large-scale interstellar pirate attack. The second level war state is equivalent to going to war with a large force, such as the Earth Federation's war with the Luyun God sect. The first level war state is almost the kind where everyone is mobilized to prepare for a large-scale war. The special state of war is what it is now. For example, a wormhole suddenly appears within the human race, and then a large number of troops from the inhuman race or the insect race attack. Entering a special state of war, no matter men, women, old or young, all 11 are mobilized to fight to the death. The C72743 battlefield entered a first-level war state, and the TC-998 theater entered a special-level war state. For a while, everyone immediately followed the instructions and took action, including ordinary people. As for what ordinary people can do, there is a lot that can be done. For example, ordinary people who can fly a spaceship. In the special war state, you can drive their spaceship to transport supplies to the warehouse. You can also transport supplies to the spacecraft and produce various supplies, weapons, and ammunition. In addition, food and drink can also be prepared. Even the elderly and children can help. Anyway, the special state of war means all mobilization. The special war state and efficiency are undoubtedly terrifying, under the command of one different class after another. The entire human-controlled area in the TC-998 war zone was running like an extremely huge machine. The population of the human race in the TC-998 war zone may not be as large as the insect race. But there are still tens of trillions of people. All tens of trillions of people are mobilized. Good guy. That scene was quite spectacular. Countless starships rushed to the battlefield according to the command. In a special war state, everyone must join regardless of whether they are the Federal Army or not. Countless spaceships, even mini-ships for household use, are loaded with supplies and headed to the frontline logistics to replenish various supplies. Fuel, ammunition, repair materials, food, equipment, etc. On the rear planet, all arsenals are working hard to produce weapons and ammunition. All private industrial factories also began to convert civilians into soldiers to carry out various productions. There are also a large amount of raw materials that will be transported from the rear areas outside the battlefield. Such a large-scale operation on the rear, the vanguard troops on the front line rushed directly into the battlefield first. Including the first elite team to respond to the brilliant fleet. He was driving at full speed in the direction of Zian. At this moment, the brilliant fleet has really gone crazy. Even Zian himself didn't know how many starships he had killed. Only know. This time, him and the fleet make a fortune. Because the group of dragons has no leader, it is impossible to organize an effective containment of the brilliant fleet. The containment was also sparse and without any rules. The brilliant fleet can find an opening to break through casually. In particular, most of the strong men of the insect race are on the front line and cannot rush back so quickly to encircle them. For more than 3 hours, apart from those who were chasing behind them, the strongest ones they encountered were 3 battleships. And 3 battleships. For Zian and the brilliant fleet, they are just like delivering food. The rest are all cruisers and destroyers. As for the assault ships and other insect starships below, at the beginning, many people participated in the containment. But the further back they go, the less and less anyone dares to come up. So far, don't talk about coming over to participate in the siege, as long as it is in the direction where the brilliant fleet is heading. Assault ships and starships below all ran away like crazy, not daring to get close at all. Even many destroyers and cruisers were running away and did not dare to get close. There is no command from the headquarters. There is no more high pressure from above. Facing an almost one-sided massacre with passion, he will eventually be filled with fear. Brilliant fleet. At this stage, it is too powerful and invincible. Cruisers, in front of Zian, 1 gun at a time, without exception. In front of all the girls, it took only 1/3 of a round to kill 1 ship, no exception. Even battleships. In front of Zian, he was still helpless. Still 1 gun and 1 ship. Seeing that there are no bug-human enemies blocking the way ahead, Zian said with a slightly tired tone, "Get ready to kill the deep spaceship behind. You intercept the rest of the starships for me. Leave that deep spaceship to me. Kill them, the problem shouldn't be big." At this time, the insectoid starships fled far away. As long as they killed the deep spaceship pursuit team behind them, they could then let the brilliant fleet escape at will. But that's if the super strong ones don't intervene. The girls were also extremely exhausted at this moment. The battle continued for 3 hours, plus the previous attack on the spring insect star system, which added up to 1.5 hours of all-out fighting. Bioenergy can almost be said to be exhausted. Thanks to the fact that they were constantly eating treasures from heaven and earth to quickly recover their biological energy, and thanks to the fact that most of them had evolved to the 10th level, they had been able to persist for a long time. Although the 2 girls Haitang and Taj did not evolve from the peak of the 10th level. However, their starship also does not have the maximum length, width and height. so I can still keep up with the duration of the battle. Make a decision. Zian turned the bow of the ship directly, aimed at the deep space ship pursuing behind him, and opened fire with all his strength. Brilliant number. In a Star Wars simulation, at the level of a cruiser, it surpasses a deep space ship. Moreover, in the Star Wars simulation, deep spaceships are simply killed at the cruiser level. Now, there is a multi-dimensional space starship overlapping, and the opponent's deep spaceship is not very high level. Coupled with the fact that there are many female assistants to kill the deep spaceship behind him, Zian thinks that the problem is not big. In fact, before this, Zian could have killed the deep spaceship and escaped. The reason why he didn't kill the opponent immediately. That's because, kill the opponent as soon as possible. Wouldn't that scare away all the remaining cruisers? How could there be so many starships coming to give him and the brilliant fleet heads and evolution points? Now they are all scared out of their wits, and no starship dares to come here again. The time to kill the deep spaceship naturally comes to 523. 2. What Zian never expected was 3 hours ago, this deep spaceship was still shouting with great anger. Seeing the brilliant fleet turning around and starting to fight them, he was stunned for a moment at first. Then without hesitation, he turned around and ran away. No nostalgia at all. Zian was stunned for a moment. This deep space ship, as well as the fleet he led, were also frightened by him. This was something Zian never expected. But since he ran away, Zian would not pursue him. After all, this is still the hinterland of the insects. If you don't run away, you won't be able to escape even if you want to when the strong ones from the insect race come. Keep running. Without saying a word, Zian turned around again and started escaping with the queue. At this time, Zian looked extremely excited. The overlapping of starships in multidimensional space indeed consumes a lot of wealth. But compared with the evolution value I obtained, nothing at all. This harvest, it's really too big. How big is it? Let's put it that way. Now, the brilliance, even with 100% orange epic quality, is enough to evolve into a deep space ship. However, there is only one brilliant ship, and it is still not enough for two of them to evolve into deep space ships with this quality at the same time. Because of the orange epic quality, the required evolution values are really too many. In the future, the higher the quality, the required evolution value will increase geometrically. This is just a gain in evolutionary points. And the contribution of this brilliant fleet. It's not hard to imagine. When the war is over and the mission is settled, the rewards that oneself and the brilliant fleet can obtain. There will definitely be a massive amount. If you're enjoying my content, please consider donating a coffee or checking out my shirts on TeePublic. Zian underestimated the determination of the strong insectoid people to kill him. They had just driven away the insectoid fleet headed by the deep space ship. The result was less than 10 minutes. An extremely large starship arrived at super speed. He just showed his face. Countless missiles and artillery shells were launched towards the fleet, especially Zian's ship. Because of the huge size of the other party, although the two sides are far apart, Zian can still be vaguely visible to the naked eye. According to visual inspection, I estimate that he is probably a vertical starship captain, just like his master Kai Tai. Longitudinal starship. It is the most powerful existence on the sea-level battlefield. More powerful beings will not come to the sea-level battlefield. Even captains of vertical starships on sea-level battlefields would never attack each other under normal circumstances. But today, the buggers were visibly enraged. In other words, they felt fear. From Zian and his brilliant fleet, I felt fear. They didn't know how Zian and his brilliant fleet sneaked to the rear of the insects and killed the TC-998 battlefield headquarters. Even if you beat him to death, you won't believe it. Zian has mastered the identity identification and camouflage technology. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. The kind that you wouldn't believe even to death. What kind of talent does one have to master this cutting-edge evolutionary technology at this age? Some other means must have been used, or it could be said that a certain evolutionist master in the human race who mastered this technology disguised the brilliant fleet. This is not impossible, because I heard that Zian had a teacher. But the cosmic human race concealed the information very tightly, and they had no idea who his apprentice was. But anyway, Zian and his brilliant fleet are too great a threat. How old are you? But it has caused such great trauma to the insect race, which will allow him to grow. Is it okay to pay it back in the future? Therefore, this super strong man of the insect race guards the battlefield of C72743. As soon as we got the news, we rushed over as quickly as possible without hesitation. Even if he succeeds, he will be madly hunted down by the super strong people of the human race. But no matter what, hurry and hurry. Finally, before the brilliant fleet was about to escape and disappear, he rushed over from the main battle area. As soon as the traces of the brilliant fleet were discovered, he immediately used thunderous means to kill him. The reaction from the cosmic human race was not slow at all. Brilliant fleet. Seeing the incoming missiles and artillery shells, Zian's expression changed wildly. But he hasn't made any reaction yet. Suddenly, a large number of artillery shells and missiles appeared behind the brilliant fleet at the same time. Looking carefully, I found that these missiles and artillery shells were all anti-aircraft models. Seeing this, Zian breathed a sigh of relief. At the same time, an old voice sounded simultaneously in the communication of the fleet. "Little guy, what are you doing standing still? Why don't you run away quickly? Otherwise, the aftermath of the battle alone would be enough for you." The old voice was very gentle, full of kindness and appreciation. Zian came to his senses immediately and responded quickly, "Thank you, General Mu." General Wood. It's the super powerful man from the vertical starship that the human race guards on the C72743 battlefield. The only ones that can intercept the Zerg warships are our own warships. Therefore, Zian immediately recognized who the person who helped intercept was. The words fell. Without hesitation, he quickly left this place with his brilliant fleet. General Mu is right. The battle of the vertical starship. Just the aftermath of the battle. Neither of them can be endured by the brilliant fleet. It's better to escape as soon as possible. No more hesitation and worry. Leave quickly. Just left behind. A terrifying battle broke out. Although it's not that comprehensive. But that terrifying battle fluctuation actually caused the entire universe to tremble. There are layers of space cracks, and they have just been repaired, and new ones appear immediately. Moreover, these space cracks are extremely large, and their size is enough to swallow up the brilliant fleet. Either he will be torn apart by the turbulent currents in space, or he will become an eternal healer. Zian himself was fine. The key women. I'm afraid no one will survive. With the emergence of the super powerful insectoids, many of the remaining strong men also appeared. But they were all intercepted by General Mu and his own strong men. But for the starships of the immortal ship and below, General Mu and his own strong men have nothing to do with it. Originally, Zian thought that there would be at least one extremely dangerous battle next. However, with the appearance of a strong team of his own, Zian was completely relieved. We are the first elite team in the TC-998 theater. We have been ordered to come here to pick you up. Leave them to us and you can keep running. A calm man's voice came through the communicator. Zian responded quickly. Without talking nonsense, he said thank you and continued to run away with the girls. The immortal ship and star destroyer were all intercepted by the elite team. The brilliant fleet did not suffer even a little bit of damage. As for star destroyers and below? Let's put it that way. When Zian was standing here, there probably wouldn't be many starships below the star destroyer to attack him. The terrifying combat power of the brilliant fleet really frightened many people. the next stretch of road. It turned out to be a smooth transition. Soon, the dazzling fleet fled into deep space and disappeared without a trace. When the brilliant fleet once again appeared in the human-controlled area, it was already 3 days later. It's easy to go, but hard to come back. When we went there, the human race was not too vigilant. When they came back, a large number of powerful insectoids came from other war zones and carried out what could be described as a carpet-like search. The reason is simple. Because 2 days ago, the latest news was exposed. The buggers are going crazy. They never expected it. This time, Zian not only killed their headquarters, but also caused their control area in the TC-998 theater to shrink to the extreme in just a few days, and they were about to be kicked out of the theater. And according to the latest news, Zian, he even killed Minami-Chia, who was Nanji too. The unparalleled genius of their insect race. The peerless genius ranked 299th on the genius list. Moreover, the fleet created under his command, the Minami-Chia fleet, is as much a prodigy fleet as the brilliant fleet. Half of the members are ordinary geniuses, the other half are also top evil geniuses. However, such a talented Nanjiya, such a powerful fleet of geniuses. He was actually killed by the brilliant fleet. Earlier, Zian killed barbarous Lu of their insect race, which itself had already made the Zerg race filled with indignation and anger. $0. The entire insect race is about to explode. Countless starships from other theaters spontaneously went to the TC-998 theater to conduct a blanket search for the brilliant fleet. They didn't even care about the battle situation in the TC-998 theater, because we know that the TC-998 theater cannot be saved. Their disadvantage was too obvious, and the human race reacted too quickly. What can be done now is to resist as much as possible and let more insectoids withdraw. But none of this matters. The important thing is to kill Zian. Kill him and his brilliant fleet. The TC-998 war zone can be lost, but the population of hundreds of billions can be lost. Zian must die. However, the idea is good. The reality is cruel. Under their blanket search, the dazzling fleet seemed to disappear out of thin air. When they receive information on the location of the brilliant fleet, they have returned to the territory controlled by the human race. One by one, they can only rage and roar at the sky, Li Liaohao. The name Zian and the name Brilliant Fleet. Let the insect race hate it to the bone. Pity. It's of no use. The dazzling fleet returned to the human race. He was immediately protected by a large number of super-powerful humans. It is said that General Mu, the captain of the human race's longitudinal starship. The starship is currently parked not far from the area where the brilliant fleet is. The meaning is obvious. It just makes you want to kill me, but you can't, and I'll make you mad. And the brilliant fleet returned to the human territory. Under the current peak of fame, as soon as he came back, he disappeared in front of everyone. And this disappears. That's a full 20 days. No one knows what the brilliant fleet is doing. Just based on vague guesses. Brilliant fleet. Now the ranking has suddenly jumped to Zian, who is ranked 299th on the Tianjiao list. $71. Going to evolve into a battleship. Until this time, everyone suddenly woke up. Zian ranked 299th turned out to be just a cruiser captain. The human race is amazed. The Inhumans were silent. The insectoids are even more murderous. Zian must die, no matter how excited the outside world, especially the insectoids, is. Inside a medium to large support ship of the human race. This support ship is a medium to large support ship. With a length of 200,000 meters, it is like an ultra-small satellite suspended in the sky. The facilities inside are extremely complete. Everything you need. The most important thing is that this kind of support ship can be moved and can also perform space jumps. This is an ability that the planet does not possess. Inside the support ship, in the super-large evolution factory, brilliant fleet, a collective evolution is taking place. The 5 girls are Qin Fuyue, Hu Qiqi, Miao Xiaomi, Bai Xiaoyuan and Taimei. Qiqi 7 rises to 8. Su Zian, Haitang, and Taj. It is the 10th level peak breakthrough battleship. This time, the 2 daughters, Haitang and Taj. The quality is 100% purple and the unparalleled quality evolves into a battleship. Su Zian. According to the plan, we still plan to evolve the overall orange epic quality into a battleship. Almost some of the main parts have evolved to the battleship level. The reason for this choice, it's not that the evolution value is not enough. This time, the action. For Su Zian, for the girls. It really brings a huge amount of evolutionary value. Not to mention Su Zian. It's all the women. They have so many evolution points now. It is enough for their starships to evolve to the level of deep space ships with 100% orange epic quality without restraint. Su Zian are 2 brilliant ships, both of which can evolve into deep space ships with overall golden legendary quality. If you look at just 920 ships, then you can evolve into a deep space ship with 100% overall golden legendary quality. Yes. Golden legendary quality. But it's a pity. Golden legendary quality. The requirements are too high. Quality. It doesn't mean that if your evolution value is enough, you can improve it to whatever level you want. The quality is too high. If the quality of the starship itself cannot bear it, and the strength of the starship captain itself cannot bear it, it will be in vain. A simple explanation is, it's like a computer with an RTX 4090 graphics card. But the CPU, that is, the processor, is only the Intel i3 model. Can the i3 processor drive this RTX 4090 graphics card? Obviously not. Yes, it does work. But, can you unleash the performance of the RTX 4090 graphics card? Obviously not. I am afraid that when running the game Red Dead Redemption 2, the RTX 4090 graphics card has not yet exerted its power, and the i3 processor has already reached its limit. If you open the game to the highest image quality and turn on light and shadow tracing, good guy, the i3 processor can be destroyed directly. Reason, that's the reason. This is what the relationship between starships and quality means. Maybe it's a little inappropriate. A more appropriate term would be an i5 or at most 17 processor paired with an RTX 4090 graphics card. It works, but it's useless. The starship level is not up to standard. No matter how high the quality is, your combat effectiveness will not be improved at all. The consequences of forced upgrades range from the starship's combat effectiveness to plummeting to, at worst, turning into a pile of scrap metal with no combat effectiveness. Level cannot lead to higher quality. And battleships, including deep space ships. The highest endurance quality is also the strongest and best endurance quality. It's purple incomparable and orange epic. Golden legend, the quality of a star destroyer and an immortal ship. Now that the evolution value is sufficient, the reason why it is not directly upgraded to 100% orange epic is because it's really not necessary. Because look at the entire universe. How many battleships are there that can be of 100% orange epic quality? There are only a few that are 100% purple with unparalleled quality. Is it really that easy to obtain evolution points? Since this quality is enough for now, it's better to keep more qualities to prepare for the next evolution. Golden legendary quality. The required evolution value is even more terrifying. The girls also mean the same thing. Battleship. They are 100% purple with unparalleled quality. This quality definitely belongs to the top group in the universe, and there are very few who can compare with their quality. Deep space ship, overall orange epic quality. Star Destroyer, 100% overall orange epic quality. Immortal ship, overall golden legendary quality. This is the most reasonable, because the number of evolution points they obtain can never compare to Zian. Only Zian dared to be so presumptuous. As for Zian, it's even simpler. Deep space ship, with 100% overall orange epic quality. Now, a part of the overall orange battleship with epic quality. Just talking about quality alone, it will definitely beat all invincible opponents. In addition, the multi-dimensional space starships of the two starships overlap. Good guy. The fighting power is so terrifying. It's no problem to say that it has performance and power that exceeds 100% overall golden legend quality. Enough. This evolution. Qin Fuyua's fifth daughter, only 10 days will be enough. Zian and 3 people will need 20 days. The battleship evolution is naturally more difficult. The maximum length, width and height data of the battleship are: length, 2,899.9 meters, width, 609.9 meters, height, 299.9 meters. Comparing the data of the cruiser, it has doubled. Length, 1,499.9 meters, width, 339.9 meters, height, 179.9 meters. This is the maximum length, width and height of the cruiser. Such a huge volume. It represents more powerful battery life, more powerful main and secondary guns and missiles, and more main and secondary guns and missiles. Even the jump distance of the space jump engine can be increased a lot, especially after the quality is upgraded to Golden Legend. It was even more terrifying, although the size has expanded. But Zian has no plans to add components. Judging from the previous 3.5 hours of bloody battle with the insects, the current number of main and secondary guns and missiles of the Brilliance is actually enough. Because the performance of the Brilliance is so powerful, especially when the starships overlap, when facing those of a higher level, one shot at a time. Not to mention those of the same level, or even weaker. Therefore, with almost one gun per ship, there seems to be no need to add more main and secondary guns and missiles. Increase, definitely increase. But that's for later. After Star Destroyer. After the Star Destroyer, it is what really needs to be added. Because the Star Destroyer is a terrifying existence that can annihilate a planet or even a star system in the true sense. With little firepower, how can it be called a Star Destroyer, but not until the deep spaceship level? Zian has no plans to add parts. At first I planned to add more, but now after trying it, I no longer have that idea. But replacement is definitely necessary. But what was replaced was not weapon parts. Are the rest of the parts? Anyway. This time it evolves to a battleship. After the devouring evolution, the caliber of the main and secondary guns and missile bays will definitely be greatly increased, which will definitely increase the power. But more importantly is the increase in battery life. Tell the truth, in just 3.5 hours, the Brilliance has already entered a situation where it is running out of ammunition. Zian was extremely dissatisfied. After all, Zian comes from the Earth in ancient times. As a person from the Xia dynasty on Earth in ancient times, I suffered from a problem that almost all people in the Xia dynasty had: phobia of out of fire and phobia of out of ammo. If you have enough firepower, that's ammunition. For a normal battleship level fleet, it is more than enough to last for less than 3 to 5 hours. But in Zian's opinion, if you don't insist on high-intensity fighting for 10.5 days, what kind of infertile star fleet is it? What about the Age of Discovery? Do you think you have the right to fight at this moment? Go home and play in the mud. Super high intensity, last for 10 days and a half. Normal strength, 1.5 years. This is Zian's request. So, the reserve capacity of all starships in the Brilliant Fleet must be as high as it can be. Secondly, Zian plans to see if there is a chance to recruit 2 more support ships to the brilliant fleet. Yes, 2 more damn ships. There are 3 support ships in total. In this way, only in this way, can we meet Zian's requirement of continuous ultra-high-intensity combat for 10 days and a half. But let's put these aside for now. Let's start with the evolution brilliant number. In addition, the starships of Taj and Haitang. The planning has already been completed. 3 starships start evolving at the same time. Target: battleship, Taj's starship. It is a replica of the next stage of the Thai American rock. I can't say there is no difference, I can only say they are exactly the same. But although the 2 starships started as battleships, they were exactly the same. No matter in terms of appearance, performance, configuration, etc., they are exactly the same. But evolution is completely different, and standard evolution cannot be carried out. The reason is simple. Taime's boulder and Taj's iron mountain were before this. Evolution is completely different. Parts, materials, etc. used, also completely different. Although Zian will conduct a comprehensive replacement of the parts of Taj's Iron Mountain. From the landing gear of the starship to the keel of the starship, a comprehensive replacement is carried out. However, biological starships evolved. No matter how similar they are in the future, their genes will be different. The metal material swallowed and absorbed by previous evolutions are also completely different. As a result, even if the starships are exactly the same in the end, but their genes are different, but they use the same evolutionary method, then the result must be different. Using the evolution plan of the Great Stone, it is unknown what the Iron Mountain will eventually evolve into. In the same way, Jusher Chang is the same. The only way is to use different evolutionary plans to achieve the same evolutionary effect. This is why the current standard biological starship evolution cannot be consistent. There is even a regulation in the Federal Army. You can devour and evolve the starship assigned to you. However, all consequences will be borne by the soldiers themselves. Including the cost of subsequent evolution, the Federation will not care at all. Otherwise, just follow the requirements of the Universal Human Federation honestly. You must not swallow even a gram of iron ore privately. Because even if you only swallow 1 gram of iron ore, the result will be that your starship cannot evolve according to the standard. The same evolution plan will most likely go in a completely different direction because of the extra gram of iron ore. The way of evolution is broad and profound, Taj's Iron Mountain. Naturally, like the monolith, it takes the path of a super tank. No means of attack. But the defensive capabilities and defensive methods have reached an extremely terrifying level. And after careful observation of the first 2 missions, Taj's character, it was also recognized by Zian. Of course, Zian would not recognize someone so easily. The reason why Taj is recognized, teachers Kai Tai, Xiaodong Liu, and several senior brothers and sisters were also asked to help carefully investigate all of Taj's past deeds and behaviors, and finally came to the results. Coupled with Taj's participation, the Intelligence Department of the Universal Human Federation, out of strict protection of Zian, also conducted the most rigorous investigation on Taj. Character is trustworthy, not to mention. Therefore, after this evolution, 2 daughters. They will also enjoy the same treatment as Jin Fuyue and the other girls. To this end, on Zian's brilliant number, the area of the plant cultivation room has been deliberately increased again. In this way, more natural and earthly treasures can be cultivated for everyone to use. Below the limit length, width and height. The defenses on both sides of the Iron Mountain are as high as 290 meters thick. The thickness is 580 meters on both sides. The space in the middle, such as the corridor, only has 29.9 meters of activity space. But it's enough. The defense thickness of 290 meters on one side is naturally all core armor. At a huge cost, the 29-meter thick core armor was customized from the Holy Armor Group, with a total of 10 pieces on one side. Just ask who can resist this defense. Star destroyers have to cry. Coupled with the energy shield produced by the 3 energy shield devices engaged in a 3-crossfire. The terrifying defense power is probably even worse than the defense power of an ordinary star destroyer. Anti-aircraft guns. There is no space on the sides, it doesn't matter. There are before and after. It is impossible for the entire length of 2,899.9 meters to be equipped with core armor. That is pure nonsense. The defense at the front and rear is the same as the side. The cockpit and engine have been specially reinforced again. The defense on the upper and lower sides is still the weakest. No way. The height is here. And such a long length. In addition to excluding storage space and the space occupied by all parts. The remaining space will be filled with anti-aircraft guns, short-range anti-aircraft energy cannon, short-range anti-aircraft kinetic energy cannon, medium-range air defense energy missile, medium-range anti-aircraft thermal missile, medium-range energy weapon interception barrier. There is also remote, super long range, etc., etc. Densely packed. Let's put it that way. Number of its various means of defense. The configuration of firepower ships is comparable to that of Huchichi and Qin Fuyue in the cruiser stage. No way. Who told the battleship to increase in size so much? The space is so big, so unbridled. This defensive ability, Zian himself felt numb. He was even thinking. Without using the overlapping capabilities of multidimensional starships, can I still defeat the brilliant fleet? The conclusion is simple. Cannot. At most, both sides will suffer losses. If the starship overlapping ability is used 99% of the time, Zian wins. Then there's Haitong's siren. Kraken, main assault. What is an assault? If the meow 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 is said to be a life-threatening ghost, then the siren is an arrow that pierces the enemy's heart. And if you want to achieve this effect, there is nothing else. Mount as many main guns as you have. Not a single secondary gun is needed. All guns loaded. No missiles either. It's the main gun. The main gun is the most powerful. Make the siren into a hedgehog. The whole body is covered with main guns. The hull is extremely long, wide and high, coupled with certain defensive capabilities and a 3-crossfire device. As well as rapid acceleration and deceleration of the engine, etc. Let the siren become an arrow covered with barbs. Because there are no secondary guns, missiles, and anti-aircraft guns, asking for flowers. Only the main gun remains. Even though the main gun is huge and takes up a lot of space, but there is no problem in installing a 128-gun main gun. In 64 kinetic main guns, 64 energy main guns, kinetic main cannon and energy main cannon, and half-penetrating shells and high-explosive shells. The ship-wide 29-meter core armor itself has good defensive capabilities. The energy shield provided by the 3-crossfire energy shield device can also ensure the safety of the Kraken. The rapid acceleration and deceleration provided by the hyperdrive are not as flexible as the Meow. But an assault? Just a rampage. Acceleration is fast enough. Slow down enough. That's enough. Coupled with the huge size of the battleship, it can also provide enough space to store ammunition. Kraken. It will become another big killer of the brilliant fleet. All evolution plans are well prepared. All parts and evolved materials are in place. Evolution 0, it also officially begins. Lasts for 20 days. And within these 20 days, Zian, when you have time, you will also learn various camouflage skills in the evolution simulation. The starship evolution this time, Zian, actually also reserved a lot of interfaces for camouflage of future starships. The specially reserved camouflage area can make subsequent camouflage more refined, more high-end, and less likely to be seen through. As the saying goes, a jack of all trades. In addition, in the starship simulation, the system will also give reminders and teachings whether the starship's disguise is wrong or not. This further improved Zian's learning ability. While learning to disguise, then continue to conquer the evolution of deep space ships and the success rate of orange epic quality. The schedule is packed to the brim. These 20 days. Zian doesn't have any free time. Wait until evolution is complete. The dazzling fleet will lead to a surge in combat effectiveness. When Qin Fuyua's 5 daughters all evolve to the battleship level, the brilliant fleet at that time, it will definitely become C-72743 on the battlefield, under normal combat conditions. The most terrifying devil. Zian looks forward to this day coming as soon as possible. But after the 3rd day of Zian's starship evolution, this assault war against the insects was finally over. Human race. Without any surprise, they occupied 70% of the territory of the insects. The remaining 30%. It was occupied by the Inhumans who reacted later. Divide the enemy's area, rob the enemy's material resources, and kill the enemy's population. The Inhumans are certainly not far behind. This time, the Buggers are defeated. A big win. Naturally, Zian and the brilliant fleet created the main conditions for this victory of the human race. Its rewards. It is also enviable. Today, it is also the completion of the Cooperative Operation Mission Award. What is the official release date? This war lasted for almost 10 days in total. There are 3 pinnacle overlord groups in the universe: humans, Inhumans, and insects, plus various vassal races. A total of more than 5 trillion starships have been put into combat. The reason for such a large number is that it includes subsequent starships coming from other theaters and even outside the battlefield for support. However, the main combat force on the front line is only a few hundred billion starships. The rest are occupied, defended, cleaned the battlefield, escorted supplies, provided logistical support, etc. The scale of the battle was so large that it could be called the first time in a million years that the C-72743 battlefield was fought. Although the main combat area is in the TC-998 theater, but war broke out in other theaters as well. For example, the insects have to mobilize a large amount of combat power to the IC-998 theater for support. Not to mention fighting back the TC-998 war zone, at least part of the billions of people must be protected from being slaughtered. In order to prevent them from diverting their combat power, or in other words, taking advantage of the fact that the insects had diverted their combat power, the human race and the Inhuman race attacked from other war zones. So do the math. This is a war that starts from the TC-998 theater, with Zian and the brilliant fleet as the core 2, 3, and 3 centers, and affects the entire C-72743 battlefield. The total number of deaths exceeded 27 trillion. The main dead population is undoubtedly the insect race, and the vast majority of the dead are ordinary civilians of the insect race. The total number of deaths among the Inhumans and the cosmic humans does not exceed 1 million, which is nothing compared to the number of deaths among the insects. We can even say the more than 20 trillion people who died were all caused by Zian. The humans of the universe won a great victory, and Zian and the brilliant fleet were regarded as heroes of the human race. The Inhumans followed suit and put Zian and the brilliant fleet higher on the must-kill list. The insects hate Zian and the brilliant fleet with all their heart. That's a full population of 27 trillion. Although in the interstellar age of the universe, the population has expanded rapidly, each ethnic group has a massive population. But 27 trillion people is definitely not a small number. It's like the Universal Human Federation. The same huge population. But you try to kill someone secretly? As long as we find out it's you, can we go to the ends of the earth to catch you? But no matter how much the buggers hate Zian. Anyway, they have nothing else to do but hate now. For the human race, the reason why this war was won was because of the importance of Zian and the brilliant fleet. The 10-day battle is over. The rewards for Zian and the brilliant fleet were calculated immediately. Cooperative combat, sad face completed. Mission goal, assist the Federal Army in the TC-998 theater to capture the Z023 area and occupy it for a week. Mission rewards, depending on your contribution, you will be rewarded with varying amounts of military merit. Appointment difficulty, S++. Reward distribution, sad face SSS. Military merit, 3.5 million points, medal, silver, all members, see this reward. Zian smiled so hard that his throat could be seen. A full 3.5 million points of military merit is definitely an incredible amount of wealth. Don't say anything else. Just say that these 3.5 million military merits can be converted into 35 million wealth values year on year. 35 million points of wealth. You can spend a lot of money for a long time. For a long time, you no longer have to worry about the consumption of wealth. Not to mention, 3.5 million military merit is the key point. Such a large amount of military merit can be exchanged for many things in the Universal Human Federation Military Merit Exchange Bank. Just right. Save first. Wait until the deep spaceship evolves into the Star Destroyer era. Zian has to exchange 2 sets of the most powerful parts and natural treasures to evolve the Brilliance into a Star Destroyer. Finally, there is the medal reward. This medal. It is a manifestation of outstanding contributions on the battlefield. Has quite a few privileges. Medals can only be obtained after making outstanding contributions. Otherwise, in ordinary battles, no matter how many times you fight, you won't be able to get medals. The level of the medal can also be improved. The level is the same as the starship level. And medals are not just about status, honor, and privilege. The level of the medal also determines whether you can exchange it for the rarity of items in the treasure house of the Universal Human Federation. In the treasure house, it does not mean that if you have enough military merit, you can exchange it for whatever you want. In order to prevent the enemy spies from exchanging good things from the human race, also to inspire to make greater contributions to mankind. This threshold is set. Those without medals, only military merit, can only be exchanged for the most common things. But even the most common things are very rare. For example, this is the kind of parts and materials used in Zian's Starship Evolution battleship. Better things require medals. Now, Zian and the brilliant fleet. The things that can be exchanged are the highest level warehouse items in the military merit exchange warehouse. At this level, there are basically many rare items. Anyway, Zian was extremely greedy. I won't give you these military merits. Zian looked at the girls and said with a smile, Qin Fuyue, where are you? These military achievements are just what you owe me. How can you repay the debt? Let me just wipe everything out for you. Qin Fuyue, Hu Qiqi, and the other girls couldn't help but frown. They just know. In fact, I never thought about getting military merit. However, even though they can't share it, Zian will directly exchange it for them for whatever they need to evolve the starship. Therefore, whether you have military merit or not, it doesn't matter at all. The only thing that makes them happy is, from now on, Su will no longer be allowed to withdraw money. Zian continued to look at Haitang and Taj. Your military merits will not be given to you yet. I will use it to evolve your starships and provide you with natural resources and earthly treasures in the future. Don't worry, I will calculate every account very clearly, and I will not blackmail you. After all, I am a very upright person. Haitang continued to practice without even raising her head. For her, military achievements are not important at all. Anyway, She knew that Zian would arrange it for her. This is a kind of trust in Zian. Taj also had an indifferent expression on her face. Seeing that all the girls were so straightforward, Zian was very satisfied. He didn't really want to blackmail their military merit. But it's his military merit that can bring out the greatest value. Whatever they lack, he can surround them without them having to ask. But once the military merits are in your hands, you can also increase your wealth. I took a few glances at the reward. Zian stopped caring. The evolution continued. Women. Then he continued to practice. Now the starships are evolving, and what they are practicing is at the Star Wars level. For example, in the mind, recall and digest the experience and knowledge gained from previous wars. At the same time, strengthen one's own physique and so on. Evolution. Continue. In the next 10 days or so, nothing unexpected happened again. No matter how noisy the outside world is, regardless of whether the insects are official or private, how many bounties have been released for hunting Zian? Zian ignored them all. On the list of peerless geniuses, Zian, without any surprise, replaced Manhwa at 299th. He is also the first to rank among the top 300 as a cruiser captain. It can be said that the name Zian has attracted a lot of attention. In the entire universe, it can be said that no one knows or understands it. Zian led the brilliant fleet to achieve outstanding contributions in this war, and was promoted by the media as a human hero, so much so, the women, and the brilliant fleet. In a real sense, it is as popular as Zian. Especially when the battle scenes of the brilliant fleet were exposed. It also attracted the excitement and enthusiasm of countless young people. He directly rushed into the 889th place on the list of the prodigy fleet of the universe. What is interesting is, because the girls and the brilliant ship 3.0 team exploded together. The looks of the girls were also exposed on the internet. In just a few hours. Female. Then she went straight to the beauty list in the universe, yes. Including Time and Taj sisters. After all, the aesthetics are different. In Zian's eyes, they have nothing to do with the word beauty. But in the eyes of some humans. The 5 girls, Fox Chichi, Qing Fuyue, Miao Xiaomi, Bai Xiaoyuan, and Hai Tang, are ugly girls. Tammy Taj is the ultimate beauty. Just like human beings are ugly in the eyes of the inhumans and insects. It is the same reason that the inhumans and insects are extremely disgusting in the eyes of the humans. Suddenly, Zian let countless male compatriots envy and hate him, when the outside world is extremely busy. This day. Brilliant number. Finally, the evolution is completed. It took 6 years. When Zian was 24 years old. Successfully become a battleship captain. War King level powerhouse. The 24-year-old captain of the Emperor-class battleship. A well-deserved peerless genius, in front of you. It is a giant starship with a length of 2,899.9 meters, a width of 609.9 meters, and a height of 299.9 meters. The appearance is ferocious and domineering. In appearance, there have been great changes. It is a series of changes in appearance based on the various combat capabilities of the battleship class. This change will allow all aspects of the performance of the Kwakanho to be enhanced to a higher degree. However, the parts have not been replaced, and the parts from the cruiser period can still be seen. Although it has not been replaced, the appearance has also changed a lot. This is evolution. It is an evolution that mechanical starships can never achieve. Especially pure evolution. Evolve whatever appearance you want to evolve. Of course. Everything looks good. They are all designed and evolved based on the strongest optimization of each component. For example, for main guns. The caliber of the main gun barrel has been increased 3 times. The barrel length has increased 5 times. This allows the main gun to achieve better ejection speed, higher accuracy, and more powerful penetration. Needless to say, the caliber tripled the caliber. Especially, the quality has been upgraded to orange epic quality. 171, that's the power. Let's put it this way. 1 gun for a battleship. A deep space ship with up to 10 guns. Zian, said it. As for the Star Destroyers, crossed both levels 11 times. Seriously. Not much confidence. But if it's the brilliant fleet, let's go together. Star Destroyer also knelt down and sang "Conquer" to me. Otherwise, the genius fleet and the peerless genius will be regarded as treasures by various ethnic groups. That's why. Leapfrog combat and growth potential. It's really beyond the reach of ordinary people. This evolution. Orange epic quality parts, keel, hull, core armor, main gun, energy shield, cloaking device, stealth coating. That's all. Even the secondary gun has not evolved. Because seriously, Zian didn't use the secondary gun much. As for anti-aircraft guns, the purple incomparable quality is also sufficient. The rest of the series of parts are of purple unparalleled quality and are more than enough. The reason why these parts are upgraded to orange epic quality is to lose 100% of the overall purple unparalleled quality characteristics. It's because the quality improvement of these parts and their importance to Zian exceeds the 100% increase in quality, and they have increased a lot. Don't say anything else. Let's talk about a main gun. Why can Zian still achieve the level of combat capability of a deep space ship with up to 10 guns when the gap between the various levels of starships becomes larger in the later stages? Just look at the quality parameters and performance of the main gun. Heavy hydrogen atomic energy cannon, orange epic. Feature 1, penetration increased by 58%, Feature 2, penetration increased by 58%, Feature 3, penetration increased by 58%, Feature 4, penetration increased by 58%, Feature 5, penetration increased by 58%, Feature 6, penetration increased by 58%, that's the reason. Full of 6 characteristics. A terrifying 58% bonus. Stack it down. The penetration power of this main gun has increased by a terrifying 348%. Coupled with the evolution to a battleship, the caliber of this main gun has been increased 3 times, the barrel length has been increased 5 times. The launch base of the main gun has also been strengthened 5 times. Even if it is calculated based on the purple unparalleled quality, it is almost 4 times more powerful than before. Now, the original penetration has been increased by 190%, and the current penetration has been increased by 348%. This is why Zian is so confident. I am invincible under the Star Destroyer. A change above the Star Destroyer. Looking at the parameters of the brilliant number, Zhonan's scalp went numb for a while. It's unimaginable for them. Facing a super monster like Zian. What should it take to win? Especially, they still know. Today, Zian is conducting research on the double crossfire of main guns, and it has achieved remarkable results. Not surprisingly, the brilliance is in the 2nd tier and up to 3rd tier battleship period. Zian will definitely engage in crossfire with the main gun. By the time, how powerful the brilliant number is, it will be unimaginable. Absolutely, in the true sense, I am invincible under the Star Destroyer. Except Zian's brilliant account. It's Haitang and Taj's Siren and Iron Mountain. Nothing else to say. Anyway. Begonia's Siren. It really looks like a huge ferocious sea monster. Those heart-chilling main guns, a total of 128 main guns, are like countless tentacles, although it is only purple with unparalleled quality. But caliber, barrel length, firing base, etc. They are all the same as the main gun of the brilliance. The bad thing is just the quality. But the Siren has an overall 100% purple unparalleled quality bonus. The overall quality bonus is also in the direction of main gun power and penetration. Perhaps Not as powerful as Zian's single power. Even in a fight, Zian's accuracy was not there. But the quantity more than makes up for it. There is only overtaking, not falling behind. Of course. So powerful, the losses are also great. Such as defense, such as no ultra-long-range attack means, such as no air defense system, such as small internal space, such as insufficient agility, such as... After all, every gain must come with a loss. There's nothing we can do about it. But what was lost was made up for by the brilliant fleet. Iron Mountain's words. It is the ultimate defense and ultimate interception. Anyway, there are various defense methods and interception methods. The number of anti-aircraft guns is densely packed. However, there are also characteristics. Because anti-aircraft guns do not require long-range attacks, there is no need for long-range accuracy. Therefore, all anti-aircraft gun barrels on the Taizhan are retracted inside the core armor. Looking at it, it is just a lump of iron, and then it is full of neatly cleared round holes. These are actually anti-aircraft guns. This design allows the anti-aircraft gun to have the best defensive capabilities and will not be knocked out when it is attacked. Let the anti-aircraft guns get the best protection. As for the starships of Qin Fuyue's daughters, the evolution has been completed long ago. These days, I have been practicing hard. They also have to perform 8 to 9 and 9 to 10. Only then can you evolve to a battleship. After seeing the power of the 3 starships of the Brilliance, they naturally couldn't hold back. After evolving into a battleship. Normally, Zian should go to the peak battle. Then join the top forces and get enough training. But Zian was not in a hurry. After all, I just came to the battlefield not long ago. And there is one thing to say. During this period, or in other words, since participating in the Rodent Exterminator Pioneer project, growing up a little too fast. It has only been more than 6 years since Zian awakened. He is already a powerful warrior and battleship captain. It's not that growing fast is bad, but growing too fast is afraid that the foundation will be unstable. Of course, it will not slow down the pace of growth just because it grows too fast. That is absolutely impossible. So if you grow too fast, your foundation will be unstable. Simple. Just fight. Endless battle. Where is fighting happening all the time? 813, no doubt. Battlefield. Only on the battlefield. Only in this way can we grow rapidly and at the same time make our foundation more solid. In this way, in the future, we can truly grow into tall buildings and prevent them from collapsing. So, Zian's plan is simple. In the sea-level battlefield, fight for about a year and a half first. In 1.5 years, it has definitely reached the advanced battleship level. After, take advantage of the last time to participate in the peak battle and participate in the peak battle. By the way, earn more military merit and wealth. These things. You can never answer too many questions for yourself. Although the starship has evolved. But Zian and the others were not in a hurry to go out. Before going out, Zian will spend another 2 days. Carry out a wave of appearance camouflage on the starships of the Brilliant Fleet. Especially the 3 starships Brilliant. With the dazzling fleet and his current reputation, you can never show your true colors to others. It's okay in the rear, but on the battlefield, that's pure courting of death. Zian is worried about letting others evolve. Then you have to do it yourself. As for how to disguise, simple. Just use the system's camouflage plan. Yes. For learning to disguise. Zian said he had given up completely. Too difficult. It's really too damn hard. If you really want to learn, you can learn it. He suddenly thought, does he really need to learn? At most, it only costs some wealth. And these wealth values are not heavy at all compared to today's wealth value reserves. Learn or not. Although it is the ability of the system. But I have the system. That camouflage technique belongs to me, Zian. There is nothing wrong with this logic. Thank you for watching Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.